Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm going to be featuring the Zieten, the new Tier 7 German battlecruiser that has entered early access. Currently, the only way to obtain this ship is through the early access crates. They have given us a few freebies, and there are also some in the store for credits. If you do not have the credits or have already gotten them and the free crates that they have given, you can also purchase them for doubloons. Now, first things first, what are German battlecruisers and how do they differ from the main line? Well, first of all, the German battlecruisers are much less armored and have much less HP. The bow and stern of this Zieten here has a 27mm bow and stern. It does have access to an icebreaker to help you not get sitted out through the bow, but most battleships at the tier will definitely overmatch your bow. The German battlecruiser line does not have access to a turtleback like the main line, so you will definitely be sitted out fairly often when you are showing broadside to battleships. The German battlecruisers also have limited damage control parties, as you can see on the bottom left of the screen. I am only capable of using the damage control party 3 times before I run out. Wargaming has said during their stream that they will add commander skills that increase the number of damage control party consumables. However, as of right now, there is no skill to increase it, so you do have to play intelligently and manage your damage controls very well. The entire German battlecruiser line has access to secondaries that perform much better than every single ship at the tier. The Zieten has secondaries that can reach out to 11.9 kilometers, and the Zieten's secondary accuracy is comparable to that of the Massachusetts. Now, I think the Massachusetts is still slightly more accurate than the Zieten, but not by much. And finally, starting from the Tier 6, the German battleships have access to torpedoes. The Zieten's torpedo range is 7.5 kilometers, which is much further compared to ships like Tirpitz and the Brandenburg. Actually, there is one more thing that I forgot, and I had just activated it, which is the sonar, which you start to have access to these German battlecruiser sonars from Tier 5, and the Tier 5 has 5.3 kilometer ship detection, and as you go up, the ship detection range goes further. The Zieten has a 5.6 kilometer ship detection, which is why that Asashio has gotten spotted. And as you can see, the torpedoes are spotted so very far away. So basically any destroyer torpedoes will basically not hit you. Well, they shouldn't hit you since they have been spotted from so far away and there's always more than enough time to evade. I took a pretty big gamble there dodging those torpedoes, and I went broadside to the Richelieu. I was very lucky to not get citadel there and not lose all of my HP. He did chunk me pretty good though, but I am still alive. And you saw this second Asashio torpedo salvo. It was spotted from so far away. I had no problem just sailing and dodging them. And these hyper accurate German battlecruiser secondaries, I get a close quarters expert. The commander I have opted to use, since we do have limited damage control parties, is actually Megatron, which you can find in the store with this update along with the other Transformers collaboration content. The main reason I decided to use Megatron was to decrease the fire duration on the ship because he has access to revocation protocol, very much like Optimus Prime, who I use on my Massachusetts. Using that commander skill and the damage control mod in the second slot, you are able to get fire durations down to 40 seconds, which does help the fact that you only have 3 damage controls, so being set on multiple fires, you can let 1 or 2 of them go. Now, where would I rate this ship compared to the other Tier 7 battleships? Well, for me personally, I am going to rate it quite up there with my favorite battleship, Massachusetts, because I very much enjoy a aggressive playstyle in battleships and secondary builds. The secondaries on the Zieten are arguably much better than the Massachusetts because it does have the accuracy, the number of secondaries, and the rate of fire to compete with the Massachusetts having good secondary accuracy. It also has 406mm guns, which means you can overmatch the heavy cruisers at the tier, and that is something I was looking for in Massachusetts compared to the Bismarck. Is this a ship that would probably be used in competitive modes? Probably not. Obviously, you'll probably see it in ranked, which it honestly might be a very good choice, especially with the smaller numbers of teams. This is definitely a ship that you want to push in with, and having smaller teams means that you can push in without being severely punished for being aggressive. As I mentioned before, these ships have Battlecruiser Dispersion, and with that increased dispersion, I was able to dev strike a cruiser at a pretty decent range while using a full secondary build and also not using Henry J. Hyde that has access to secondary skills and marksman. I do not recommend using dispersion commanders or trying to play this ship like it's a sniper because just like the other dispersion commanders, you will be set on fire a lot more, and also since you have limited damage controls, you will most likely be double fired in the middle of your ship almost every single salvo. So it makes much more sense to use a brawler commander and try to mitigate the fire damage as well as play to the ship's strengths. The Zieten also has a very short base firing range, so if you were to use the Dispersion Commander, your firing range wouldn't be that great, and cruisers will definitely be able to reach you easily, setting you on fire. Now I'm gonna fast forward here a bit, because we do have a ways to go to try and get to the closest enemy ship. After my first few games, this is definitely a ship I am going to be playing quite a bit, and you will most likely see a whole lot of videos of the Zieten and the German battlecruisers on this channel in the near future. I do have a very good feeling about this ship slowly becoming one of my favorites, as well as the Prinz Ruprecht, and perhaps in the future we will see Schlieffen, which I'm not sure if they will allow the Schlieffen to have the secondaries like it does on PC. I'm sure it might be too strong since obviously Legends developers do not like secondaries nearly as much as the PC team. Anyway, we are now reaching the last two enemy ships, and this enemy Vladivostok is just going to stay bow in, and having these secondaries firing HE is going to be very helpful, and I use the secondary consumable, and you can see the accuracy that these secondaries are landing on the Vladivostok, and I am already up to 40 hits, and it's just going to keep continuously counting up higher. I launch my torpedoes fairly early at this Vladivostok because I can always turn to the other side and use the torpedoes on my right. Something I should mention is that the torpedo tubes are like the Brandenburg, where they are very fragile. The only German battleship that has torpedo tubes that are going to survive a fairly long time now is the Tirpitz, since it was buffed. One of the games I played earlier, I was going in to torpedo a Bismarck, and the Bismarck destroyed my torpedo tubes that I was just about to launch, and it basically ruined my plan to be able to just absolutely wreck him in a close quarters fight. I now have 4 kills, and I am hunting this carrier in order to secure a Kraken. He was briefly spotted by our destroyer when he was on the other side of the island, so I'm just going to keep going where he is heading, hopefully being able to spot him before he gets behind those islands. These German battlecruisers are fairly fast, so I know I will have no problem catching up to him, and I am able to spot the Shokaku, and he is already within secondary range. Even with improved battlecruiser dispersion, your accuracy will sometimes be very trolly, like my first shots at the Shokaku. These guns for 406mm do reload fairly quickly, and I am able to reload and fire my second salvo at him, which looks a lot better since it's flat, and I am able to citadel him and secure a Kraken as well as a high caliber. I think the main takeaway from this new Battlecruiser line is that they are fun. They are extremely fun to play, and if you enjoy brawling, these will definitely be up there for your favorite ships. I was able to get a high caliber Confederate, Kraken, Dev Strike, Close Quarters Expert, and a Dreadnought, typically all medals you will expect to find from a brawling battleship. Now, like I said, I was using a full secondary build, and I was using Megatron as my commander. If you really wanted to, you could also have the main battery reload mod in that fourth slot instead of the secondary reload mod that I have equipped. Having that main battery mod would get your reload much closer to 20 seconds. Here you see Revocation Protocol, which decreases the fire duration by 20%, and my inspirations for the full secondary build are Hipper and Haruna, just to get the most effective secondaries that I can. Here's the Damage Control System Mod 2 that will, in combination with Revocation Protocol, get your fire duration down to 40 seconds, which means that you can save your 3 damage controls that you are limited to. But yeah, that's about it for this video. You can definitely expect to see more Zieten games, as well as the lower tier German battlecruisers, since I plan to make videos of them in the near future. But that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Do leave a like and subscribe for more. Leave a comment down below for any ships you want to see in the future. But until next time, aloha.